color.
Hiya! Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all my wonderful people filled with greatness. Your girl's back at it with some more Cafe and Shots. So you already know I had to begin right away from me getting eaten like a piece of KFC chicken or something, or pork steak. Ignis got me messed up, y'all. So we were going to see what's up with Ignis. I'm not quite sure what's going up with Jomi as well. I really hate to just see the Brotherhood falling apart like that. But we're going to begin again from the tail end of chapter 3 into chapter 4. This guy, just trifling. Of course. One day, in a frozen place where ferocious beasts lived, suddenly out of nowhere, pesky beings called humans began to appear. Most of them perished from the unforgiving climate or were helpless to the demonic beasts, but a slim portion survived. In those days, Vanar was fabled to be a lord among beasts, capable of devouring the world. To stave off demise from his insatiable appetite, the beast was put into a deep and indefinite hibernation. So that's what happened. As a result, at least for a little while. Sadly for the big bad wolf, humans with their superior brains formed an alliance with the tribe of beasts. While they paid an immense sacrifice, they managed to subjugate Vanar. However, Vanar passed his legacy, his vicious, fiery appetite, to his descendants. These people became known as the Venator, wolves with the blood of the heretic of doom. Naturally, Fearing another incident, the beasts tried to exterminate the Venator, but the Venator only needed blood. They only need blood to rampage. Thus, the beasts could not stop them. With little choice, they were chased off to remote lands with another clan, the Tigress, as their guardians. Eventually, these people would die out. Then, after several thousand years, in other words, the present day, as time passed, so too did the memory. The incident was long since forgotten. The Venator were thin in numbers from persecution. Bestia's lands were reduced to a battleground where the strong always conquered the weak, and it remains so to this day.
Ignis というバナルの血を継ぐ災厄を呼び起こすという事実に。
Back at the cafe. I know, I'll be feeling down too. I mean, dang, I just ate like a pork steak. Oh man. That fateful day never left me. Dromi's teaser of a story about the history of Vanar just wouldn't leave my head. An ancestor of Venator like Ignis that nearly destroyed the world before through predation, a gigantic life-devouring wolf that craved all forms of life. Afterward, the werecat put up no resistance and was apprehended by Canis easily. They sent him to the GPM. I thought it was weird with him going through all those wormholes like that. Ain't nobody question that dude. Ow! Each time I revisited the memory, the gash on my arm, wrapped under several thick bandages, ached in immense pain. Several days had passed. After we somehow managed to return home, I was immediately taken to a hospital. Over the course of days, my wound was treated. Fortunately, the injury hadn't damaged any of the nerves, but there was no ignoring the big hole in my arm, all thanks to his fangs. Although I got to avoid surgery, the scar would stay with me my whole life, at least according to the doctors. But there was someone in far worse condition than me, an angel marred by heavy injuries. Y'all. Two had been in a coma the whole time, resting in his bed in an empty room at Unshant. He hadn't awoken once, and after Ignis had lost control, doing something which could never be undone, Messire and the others placed a barrier over the shrine, along with the history of Vanar, and sealed him. Wait, y'all sealed Ignis away? Or sealed just the cave away? Cause... yeah. Oh, this is not what's up, y'all. Yeah. Oh my gosh. He made no effort to resist. He hung his head low, a husk of himself. Yeah, thoughts from everyone. Everyone had gathered at the cafe, recounting the sequence of events to one another. Naturally, the conversation was a solemn one, and even Karya, who wasn't there, became pale.
彼女の手当ても終わって、ようやく腰を据えて話し合えるようにはなったけど、最悪な状況に変わりはないね。
イルの容体の方は
Messire shakes his head back and forth quietly, having watched the angel from the morning until the time we were gathered.
ダメだね。傷が塞がってはまた開く。繰り返し。意識が戻る気配もない。
What? Two's wounds were supposed to heal as soon as we returned to the human world. He mentioned as much to me and Bestia. Messire picks up on my disappointment and continues in a hushed tone of voice.
動ける程度にはなってるはずなんだ。ただ、今回は傷がひどすぎる。前日までの疲労も含めて、イル自体がかなり弱っていたこともあるし。肉体を再生するための代用エネルギーが人間界のものじゃ足りないんだ。正直、いつ最悪の事態になるか。
No way.
それほど正気を失ったイグニスの攻撃が苛烈だったということか。もしあの時マスターがかばわねばイルも。
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it. I wouldn't even have a route to play.
他の魔獣と同じくイグニスに食われてたってこと。
That's for me. My shoulders tremble out of reflex.
つまり俺たちが今まで暴走だと思ってたイグニスの本当の危険性は命ぐらいの最悪の狼バナルの末裔ゆえの捕食本能だったわけだね。
ああ、おそらく彼は覚醒遺伝によって
I'm not even gonna try it. Atavism refers to genetic inheritance and appearance of traits held by ancestors after skipping many generations. Atavism can also refer to ancestor reversion.
バナルの血と力をかなり濃く継いで生まれてしまったんだろうね。だからこそフィニトルでも唯一飲食が可能だった。
その本能が目覚めるよう裏で糸を引いていたのがドローミということか。
I know. That darn Dromi. The moment his name is mentioned, Karya clenched his fists in frustration.
してやられたね。あの小物っぷりは全部演技。
Yeah, I'm not gonna be fooled by no droopy looking face next time, y'all.
ドローミはイケシャーシャーと味方ずらしつつ、アルブムや他の魔獣にイグニスの情報を流し、彼と多くの魔獣を戦わせることで、その血の匂いからイグニスの空腹を煽ってきたんだ。
アルムムにはバナルへの危険性だけを吹き込み、その本能が目覚める条件は都合よく伏せていたのだろうな。
So the true danger held by Ignis, smelling the scent of blood, takes him a step closer to turning into Vanar.
魔獣は弱者や多種族には容赦がないけれど、身内には甘いところがあるからね。自分たちの子やつがいを守るために、彼らはなりふり構わずイグニスを討伐しようとしたんだろう。
But then why did they have that crazed look in their eyes? For the Minotaurs. One thing explained why the Minotaur had behaved in such a reckless way. Turns out Mikado had already uncovered the thing eating away at their sanity. Oh, see, I just said it. That's crazy. It was a drug, the origins of which were unknown. Traces of it were found administered to the Minotaur. It warped non-human minds. So that guy. The culprit was almost undeniably that darn Dromi. He is actually a fanatic of calamity, trying to return Ignis to Vanar through predation. His clownish, small fry behavior was all an act. This guy. Just, Which also means the person who flung me into the gate to Bestia had to be him as well. The forgotten item at the time was an outright lie. My guess is that he passed through the GPM's wormhole and slipped into Enchant through the gate. From there, he did his deed, hoping to kill me and make it look like an accident. Oh my gosh. Oh.
くそ、あいつ何が目的なんだ。
目的ならば大体は察することができる。あの時のことは。
さあ、こんなくだらない殺戮の世界はもう終わる。これからはあんたの時代だよ、イグニス・カリブン・クルス。いや、古より復活したすべての命を食らい尽くす生きる最悪バナル。
ドロービの目的はおそらくイグニスに先祖返りをさせること、すなわちバナルに戻すことだろう。
But why? Although I did little more than squeak weekly, I might add I finally managed to join the conversation. What's the meaning of it all? That's from me.
ドローミ本人も含めてベスティア中の魔獣が食われる。はっきり言って毒なんてかけらもないよね。
Out of consideration for me, Monsieur picked up where I left off, helping me make my point.
そのあたりどうなの、リンド。ドローミは何か白状した。
それが尋問にはかけているんだけど、案の定こっちをおちょくってばかりでね。
The event had been clearly upsetting Rendo.
尋問自体は続けてみるけど、彼からこれ以上の情報が引き出せるかどうかは。
Dots all around.
なあ、この先イグニスはどうなるの？
Right, because y'all just sealed him away. But I mean, what could you really do? He's a danger to everyone now.
まさかこのままドローミの思惑通りにバナルとかにならないよな。
In the past, Karya's stubbornness was known to clash with Ignis's, so the two rarely saw eye to eye, but the situation felt so dire even Karya expressed his concern for Ignis. As for Karya's question, yeah, dots all around. The adults in the room, Monsieur and company, shifted in their seats.
今回の件でイグニスはアルムムたちを皆殺しにして捕食。さらに人間の肉の味まで知ってしまった。
完全にバナルとしての目覚めの条件は揃った状態だね。
このままではイグニスは。
そんな。
That's for me. Karya was incensed, frustrated by the situation Ignis was left in. I, on the other hand, could hardly utter an opinion of my own. I needed to say something, think. But not like Omni-Man think. But despite my best efforts, dots all around for me too.
ともあれ、我々がイグニスのためにできることがないか、少しでも模索していくとしよう。ただ、あなたはしばらく自室にて休んだ方がいい。腕の傷も癒えていないだろう。それに現実的な傷だけではなく。
My other scenario, hubby, y'all. He's just can't see. I'm rethinking my order. I should have just did Ignis first, but I didn't know about the whole picking certain choices through the main storyline, chapters 1 through 8. So yeah, that's my bad.
心の方もね。イグニスの話を聞くのもつらい。いや、怖いなら無理はしないでいいんだ。
今後の対応については僕たちの方で考えておくよ。マスター業の方もお休みにすべきだ。
That's from me. As I feared, they read my mood on my face. Whenever Ignis's name came up in conversation, my body trembled. Karya looked back at me. His eyes traveled between my eyes and my arm. inferring enough to form an opinion. I knew there was more to it though. I noticed they avoided talking about actual details, nothing about what really happened. It was true. My presence here was an obstacle to the more pertinent conversation at hand. Yeah, thanks. So I thanked them for their responses, apologizing for taking up their time. I bowed my head and headed up to my room. That's from me. As soon as the door shut behind me, I plopped onto my bed and took Kuroho into my arms. Not out of sadness, but fear. Ignis. Each time I heard his name, something reminded me of him. The fear of being devoured possessed me, and I trembled. Until that tragedy, I cherished him. I never once felt intimidated by him. I wanted for us to be together. Crying here into my pillow would do nothing. That much I knew. But why? Why did this have to happen, Ignis? Fear pulled tears from me like a conductor. All I could do was cry out in grief to mourn the injustice of it all. Afterward, according to Monsieur, who had stopped by my room to brief me on the rest of their talk, they agreed they needed to strengthen the barrier that encased the shrine, plus Ignis. To do that, however, Monsieur and the others had to find some way to heal too in his current state. If we could so much as take him to the heavenly world, he would heal just fine. But I told you that Lucifer right there, y'all. That's that Lucifer. All right. But fallen angels weren't exactly welcome. Normal angels hunt fallen angels for sport, and it wasn't worth the risk on Two's life. So now we get a little bit of backstory on Two. Oh my gosh. What did you do, Two, to be a fallen angel? Unless I missed it. This is so many chapters, so much info. But it was good enough as a last resort. In the meantime, the regulars searched high and low for ways to improve his condition. As for Rendo, he was given the sole pleasure of interrogating Dromi. However, even if either endeavor came to something, neither did anything to help Ignis directly, to help manage his dangerous powers. Due to atavism, he has the possibility to become the Wolf of Calamity, Venar. Despite wishing not to kill, the scent of blood makes him go wild, and many demon beasts fall prey to his hunger. Back to Ignis in the cavern. Oh, that's from me. I sit in this icy shrine all banged up. I got nothing to do but hang my head and listen to my thoughts echo. After that howl of despair, that bastard Dromi had the balls to come up to my face and tell me, Venar, ancestor of the Venator, he said, that I have inherited his blood, which makes me a world-devouring monster. Apparently, I'm a legendary beast reincarnate. One that makes me hungry for flesh. The idea is so repulsive I want to gag, but nothing comes out my stomach. In other words, I've already digested their flesh and blood and absorbed it all in my body. The thought sinks in. I can't help but feel disgusted by my own body, which until now I had been proud to show off as a symbol of my strength. I see. No wonder they call me a monster. It goes beyond eating food for humans. I devoured my fellow beasts, people that could have been kin, while they lived and breathed.
どうして俺の故郷はこんな残酷な世界になったんだろうな。もし遥か昔にその元凶になった奴がいたとしたなら、俺はそいつを一生恨む。何が不殺だ。何を恨んでんだよ俺は。こんなことほざいていた俺が残酷な世界の象徴そのものだったんじゃねえか。
Every time I see the mural, I'm petrified. I know that one day that drawing will look less like a drawing and more like a mirror. Am I destined to become Vinar no matter what? Too late for that. Until now, I had no real need for food, so any cravings I had were superficial, but my stomach let out a terrible growl in the darkness, a desperate, hungry cry. Oh, man. I bend backwards and hug my arms around my torso. I clench my teeth, fighting the desire, but it was useless. I bark into the darkness. Dots. More dots. Ah, I'm hungry. In times like these, the one to feed me was me. Well, banged up me. Renoni. But when her face came to mind, oh, we got the dash symbols now. Goshly. My hunger worsens, and I can't help but gulp uncontrollably. Her flesh was perfectly delicious. A monster hides in my brain. It's part of me. When I picture it, it laughs as her blood drips from my mouth. I stop breathing. I grip my stomach and continue to suffer in denial, surrounded by darkness. But, in a way, I was too late. That's me, Renoni. Eek! Her flowing blood, I can never forget the look of fear in her eyes as they burned into mine. More importantly, I can't believe I attacked the person I most wanted to protect. I became a monster. I devoured part of her body. As if that wasn't enough. And if it wasn't that bad enough, I hurt one of her most favorite guests, too. Hell, I tried to eat him. Yeah, it was bad. Renoni trusted me when no one else would. She vouched for me. She really believed I'd be worth it. But it was all for nothing. I gave in to my wretched hunger. I betrayed her. I'm sure I'd never get to see that smile of hers glow again. If that's the case. No, but, oh, y'all. I kicked the idea for a bit in my head until I decided to use my own fist to do the deed. But as soon as I place it over my heart to rip it out of my chest, I'm dominated by another feeling, a rabid, beastly hunger, one that chips away at me until I satisfy its craving. Nobody in their right mind would want a monstrosity like to go on living. In a remote territory stir the omens of an awakened calamity, a promise from fate about a tragic, bloody unrest. Yet, out in a nearby desolate ice field, the calamity was a mere passing thought. A small tribe of nomadic beasts struggled to survive in the harsh desert. Oh, we got the fox boy again. A young beast with lanky arms patrolled the outskirts of the village, and he turned at the sudden sound of footprints. He lowered his body, assuming an offensive stance, expecting to see a band of raiders. Dots from the other frail beasts. I don't know why they gotta say frail though. What he saw instead were beasts even smaller than himself. They had long ears, so malnourished that they could snap on contact. The young beast regarded them as no threat. He began to ponder. Were they refugees from a random attack? Have they fled here looking for safety? The boy began to pity the small creatures. However, he hesitates to call to them of his own accord. Instead, he chose to observe them, losing himself in thought until... Oh, we got the frail beast girl. One of their rank walks toward him, crunching snow beneath her tattered hide shoes. The girl exhaled haughtily through her nose. She was incredibly forward, stronger than her frail demeanor had suggested. That's all I'm like, why you gotta name them frail? You don't know what their power could be. The boy shot upright to maintain decorum, but he had no intention of threatening her. The truth was revealed. They were driven from their territory and searched for a new place to call home. So long as they were considerate of their neighbors and caused no trouble, it was fine. They seemed awfully sincere to the boy. Survival in the Badlands was brutal. Raiders and murderers pounced on any prey too vulnerable to look after its own. Yes, I add the murderers because it's just raiders and murders. So yeah. But these beasts seemed different. If they continued to wander, he thought, It'd be a matter of time until they were goners. He nodded immediately.
僕の一存だけじゃ決められないよ。縄張りに戻って族長に聞いてみないと。
じゃ、今から聞きに行きましょう。
え？
ほら、案内してよ。私たち、あなたたちの縄張りの場所知らないんだから。
His first impressions, it seemed, were off. The boy began to think that he had mistaken her lack of consideration as confidence. Regardless, as representative of his people, he led the two of them to the elder. Both of their feet trudged through the dense, knee-high snow toward the village. They shared the burden of their silence on their solemn trek until...
ねえ、この辺りって縄張りとしての条件はどうなのかしら。
He couldn't tell if she was unable to endure the silence or if she was simply bored, but he humored her attempt to break the ice. He stuck out his tongue and thought. Only one thing came to mind, especially for beasts of their stature.
割と生き残りやすいと思うよ。近くにアルムムの縄張りがあるけど、間にある大きめの氷山がこちら側を隠してくれてるし。
Well, there was the Firewolf stronghold there, but yeah, well, y'all, no.
危険を承知で、あえて連中の足元に潜伏してるってことね。気弱そうな魔獣に見えたけど、意外と肝が据わってるじゃない。
どちらかというと、他に行き場がなかったから最終的にここに落ち着いた感じ。それと氷山の他にも僕たちを守ってくれるものがあったから。
守ってくれるもの？
The young girl blinked in confusion, and the boy became animated. Enthusiasm glows in his
イグニ
eyes.
ス知ってるよね。ベスティア最強の魔獣。
Oh. She's not one to hear that, yo.
彼がね、時々様子を見に来て縄張りを守ってくれてるんだ。そのおかげで僕たちはなんとか生き残れてる。
The boy patted the top of his head, reliving when his hero patted him on the same spot all those days ago. That's super cute. Oh, and she's gonna be like, forget your hero, he ain't nothing. The warmth stuck with him all this time. He found strength in the memory.
彼、イグニスって。
I get to choose. Oh, so I'm okay. What? He's really cool or really kind? I'll say really cool. He's cool.
イグニス、かっこいいよね。強いし、背も高いし、炎を扱うとか、かっこいい。
The girl watched the boy's face turn red as she scoffed and averted her gaze.
あんなやつに憧れるとか理解できない。単に甘いだけじゃない。
So now she went from, oh, you caused it, to, oh, you should have killed everyone. Girl, look.
自分にかかってるイメージっていうか、誤解を解こうともしないぶっきらぼうだし。
彼のこと知ってるの？
知ってるっていうか、知り合ったっていうか。
The boy guessed to himself how. It seemed likely that this young girl was saved by that very same beast, the so-called strongest in Bestia. A weak demon beast girl who found out that Ignis isn't killing like before and is also owing her life during search of Kokoro's parents. While not upfront about her feelings, she does seem to be thankful to Ignis. However, afraid to draw more of her ire, the boy kept quiet, expecting a rebuttal from her were he to mention his guest. The boy was sharp and in a short time span had managed to see her for who she
ま
was.
た会いたいな。最近姿を見かけないけど、どこにいるんだろ
そういえばあいつが他の魔獣と戦った噂とか聞かないわね。
Cause they got him locked up, they won't let him out. True, as the girl said, the boy had noticed this too. His strength was undeniable, rendering the fear of losing him to battle His strength was undeniable, rendering the fear of losing him to battle to just that, a mindless
う。
fear.
なんだか嫌な予感がする。イグニスに何もないといいんだけど。
余計な心配よ。第一、何かあったところであいつに関する騒動に弱い私たちが関わることなんて万が一にもないんだから。
Dots from the boy. Back to the human world, the GPM. Several days had passed since the band of Enchant regulars commenced our plans. The GPM headquarters, including all of its higher ups, shuttled to and from meetings on how to deal with Dromi. Through it all, I was there, stuck in an interrogation room. In all truth, I was starting to become fed up with the runarounds the kid kept giving me. This guy. Dots from this guy. Now I feel like Kokoro just... The Maestro himself, the chaotic prince responsible for this hellish vortex before me, was restrained with non-human bindings. He whistled nonchalantly to my chagrin. Early on, he ditched his small fry act and revealed his true impish self, dodging each question with a quip or a quack. Don't take it from me. Mikado also sat in on the interrogations, driving himself and his assistant mad, as the latter grimaced from a side.
有効の証としてホールの使用を許可していたっていう。それをあっさり裏切るとはね。血も涙も出るこのことで。ねえ。
裏切るだなんて心外っす。俺は博士さんを裏切ったつもりなんてないっすよ。
It's just crazy, y'all. Dromi, man, like he was just, it was so funny, the dynamic with him and Ignis, and now it's just, I can't look at anyone that plays funny like this.
ホールを悪用するな。それを先に言っといてくれれば、俺は律儀にそのルールを守ったっす。
Dots from the assistant of Mikado. His ability to shift blame was impressive, but I sighed, realizing I had lost count of how many of Dromi's games I sat through.
随分と余裕だね。このまま自分が処分されるとか考えてないのかい？
だって俺別に人間界には迷惑かけてないっすよ。人間界で暴れたアルムムたちだって自分の意志でホールへ飛び込んだわけだし。
This guy.
俺自体はまだなんにもやってないと思うんすけどね。
Dots from Mr. Endo. I clicked my tongue, betraying my position. Of course, he was right. Dromi may have been the mastermind. He set things into motion. That much is true. But I couldn't pin any of those things on him to get a real charge in the human world. With this, even upper management realized he was a special case, and we needed an alternative to squeeze the truth from him. The tragedy of Bestia was within the legal jurisdiction of Bestia alone. It was impossible to charge him for that. The lad was sly, but he knew this much.
ちなみにホールに関してなんですけど、人間界に繋がってたってこと自体は俺完全に無関係ですからね。本当に超偶然にっすけど、全部があの町に繋がってるのに気づいて、それをうまく利用させてもらっただけっす。ジョシュ君、どう思う？本心かな？
競技は含まれていないと判断する。
だからそろそろ解放してほしいんすけど。
He lifted his arms, poised and pitiful.
君の腹黒さからして
Thank you to myself as Rendo.
イグニスのバナル化以外の目的がありそうだから解放できないんだよ。
But in the back of my mind, I knew time was almost out. Soon, I would have to relinquish custody of Jomi for lack of evidence. I decided it was time I loosened the tie to make the most of our time together. Dang, you gonna beat his face in?
君は何が目的なんだ？どうして君はバナルを盲信し、自分が食われる可能性も承知の上で復活なんてこと？
That's a good question. That's fire.
はあ？そんなのすっげえかっこいいからに決まってるじゃないですか。
Y'all, you've got to be, yeah, he's one of those. For real, he one of those. Yeah, dots. Less dots?
Huh?
His answer took a moment to register. I thought I misheard him, but yeah, dots all around. Mikado and, much to my surprise, his assistant were both catonic. So I knew I hadn't imagined the response he gave. Jomi, meanwhile, was unperturbed by our reactions and began to speak sternly. At first, it was about Ignis. No, not Ignis. He clarified Vinar and how his past led him to worship the heretic of doom. Now then, time for one of Jomi's history lessons. Or should I say Vinar's history lessons, since my life is nothing compared to the majestic tale of the world devourer, but enough with the digressions. As I mentioned before, Tigress, like me, are also descendants of Vinar. We were ordered to monitor the Venator, so we huddled up with them in an uncharted region, but not like the game. Fast forward to now. Vinar is just a memory. All my people remember is we got tangled up with the Venator and got crap for it. Anyway, this is my story. When I was a kid, my village was attacked. Everyone knew I was dead or worse. It was the first time I saw anything like it. In other words, it was the first time I witnessed Bestia's cruel hierarchy at work. It was, well, it took me a while to get over the sight. Some things you never forget. Never. Huh? Why was this so shocking to me? Wasn't it okay to question it all? Supremacy determined only in battle. It sounds good in theory, doesn't it? A platonic ideal of the world's best warrior. But of course, reality was disappointing. It was an endless cycle of massacres, chances for the strong to bully the weak. That was the world I lived to see. The last of my kind. I was pretty cute back then, too. The Venator took me in, since our stronghold closely bordered theirs. They raised me as one of their own. That's where I met my bro. Big bro always looked out for others, but he had his hands full with me since I had no other relatives. A certain incident happened around that time. At first, I thought to myself, oh man, another boring massacre. I didn't give it much thought, but then I witnessed a true calamity. That's right, it was my bro Ignis who lost control and awakened his FLair instinct. The Minotaurs and even his Firewolf kin, all of them, were devoured in a matter of minutes.
他の雑魚どもの戦い方なんて比べるのもおこがましい。額に受けた傷の痛みなんてすっかり忘れて、俺はその最悪にただただ見とれていた。
Wow. Boy, was I lucky. My bro returned to normal and passed out right after, sparing me from being eaten. So nobody ever got to find out exactly what happened on that fateful day. I covered up all the traces. Once things settled down, I started to research what kind of ancestral traits my big bro had. And I found a shrine once maintained by the Tigris people. Proof of Venar's existence was chronicled. I put the pieces together, realizing that my bro wasn't just a Venator, but also had the traits which set him apart from his kin. But I had to remember. That's why. He's a fanatic, y'all. In order to fulfill my dream, I carried out my plan in secret. One day, I talked myself through the plan, but the plucky Kororo overheard me swimming quietly around the shrine. Oh, so Kororo just didn't know out of nowhere. Oh, okay. So that's why Kororo was acting like that, because he heard your face. That's from Mr. Rindo and Mikado. Neither Mikado nor myself could do anything but sit, dumbfounded at what he just said. It was, in other words, idolatry. Much like a child admiring a blown-up version of a television character. Although his obsession was no doubt childish, Jomi connived his deadly plan with no hesitation, all to resurrect FLair. He seemed to convince himself that being devoured was worth it all in the end. His devotion as esoteric. Y'all with these words, okay? Y'all making me learn some things right now. Esoteric. Y'all know I'm about to look this up. Y'all know I'm about to look this up. Hold on. wrong thing. What the heck happened right there? Okay, there we go. Alright, so that means basically intended for are likely to be understood by only a small number of people with a specialized knowledge or interest. So yeah.
Esoteric.
Esoteric. So that's how you pronounce it, y'all. Esoteric. And trivial. It all seemed to me left a deep impression. In short, I had thing left to say. You had things left to say, Mr. Rindo. All right. Right. He said you're insane. Hold on. He need to be told that again. Mikado flashed a brief smile, perhaps echoing my sentiment from my eyes only. You're insane too, Mikado, so don't be all smiley over there.
おかしいよ君僕のクーちゃんに近づかないでくれたまえよ
はあ別にそんなお人形には興味ねえんすけどでもイルさんあの獲物は欲しかったな
Two. Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot that quickly, y'all. I'm like, two? Why are you bringing up two? Oh my gosh.
天使って超珍しい人外なんでしょだから兄貴が食ったらどうなるかちょっと興味あったんすけどね
I doubt they're invincible, obviously, because of what happened.
あもしかしてありがたいご利益で背中から翼が生えたりして
Yep, that's that insane syndrome. Jomi loved to laugh at his own jokes. He cackled so hard I thought he snapped. But all of a sudden he dropped the act.
でもそれもあの女が邪魔したせいで確かめることができなかった あの女もアンシャンテもとことん邪魔な存在っすよね
Whew, it makes me scared to think that time when me or my character and Jomi were alone in that cafe and he was saying how we should try and get Ignis to, I believe, accept his role or something like that. I can't believe what I said, but he started throwing the tables and everything. That should have been a clue right there. Like, why are you over here playing He-Man and shit?
あそこに入り浸るようになってから兄貴は戦いから遠ざかっちゃったし
So you just a haterade.
最終的にはうまく利用して人間の血肉を食わせることができたんで結果オーライっすけど
I realized I could no longer keep quiet.
仮にも幼い頃から君の面倒を見ていたイグニスを
Yeah.
マシューだからと偏見を持たず君をアンシャントのマスターとして親切に出迎えていたあの子
Yeah.
一体何だと思ってるんだ
Exactly. My brows furrowed, one step away from
兄貴のことはもちろん尊敬してるっすよ俺の憧れ未来のバナルとしてねただしあの女や俺も含めたそれ以外の命は全部兄貴の餌
trifling. Just trifling. That's what we call folk like him.
それ以上でもそれ以下でもないっす
He was deranged, completely oblivious to what he was saying or what any of it meant. Right. The assistant don't got words, although he don't speak anyway. Archie, let me not put a gender to them.
ちょっと
女子くんどこへ行くんだい？
この道化を相手にこれ以上の尋問は無駄と判断した。退出の許可を要求する。
This dude said, I see dude, that this person said clown. Yeah, Jomi is a world clown. So let's see.
要求するって許可を出す前に出て行ってるし。
まあ引くに耐えないって思う気持ちはわかるけどね。
In all truth, had I not been tasked with interrogating the little rat, I would have let him rot inside that cell. I gathered that Jomi shared my disinterest with how interrogations were going.
あ、いいな。俺も正直ずーっとこの部屋に閉じ込められて憂鬱な気分になっちゃったっす。
Yeah, I bet.
ってなわけでそろそろおいとまさせてもらいます。
What do you mean? Is this fool about to just leave out of nowhere? You best not.
何？
And then I'm just gonna follow up with what? Boy, Rendo, get your face up. The entirety of GPM's headquarters shook in a manner not unlike an earthquake. I knew they was about to let him escape. Y'all not guarding this boy. Dots from Rendo. I don't know how Mikado is so confused. The tumultuous sensation rocked the petite Mikado, who fell over. I felt my phone vibrate in my pocket as panic began to set in. I looked at the caller ID, letting out a sigh as I recognized my subordinate. The timing of the call coinciding with the bizarre quake intensified my worry. I immediately picked up the call.
こちらリンド、どうした？
課長、大変です。地下のベスティアへ続く固定ホールから大量の魔獣が。
Oh my goodness. It's probably the Minotaurs. I pulled the phone from my ear as my agent cried out in agony, but I had heard more than enough. Then a cold sweat drops down my brow and I hear a bell ring in my head. I realized the gravity of our situation.
ミカド、すぐにここから離れ。
Uh-oh. Probably too late for us. By the time I tossed my smartphone into my pocket to lead Mikado out. Yep, yeah, I said it. The Minotaurs, it's a pack of them. I saw a pack of Minotaurs charging through the entrance, standing shoulder to shoulder. Did that say wormhole? I put Mikado behind me, acting as his shield as I pointed my weapon at the angry bulls. A door swung behind them. It didn't take me long to realize it was... Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. I hate that I'm a part of the same feline classification as you, Jomi. Jomi, freed from his bindings, stood behind the Minotaurs, grinning maniacally.
俺が黒幕って分かった時点でホールをとっとと閉じてりゃよかったのに。こうなることも予想してなかったんすか？
I expected it. I don't know how Rendo and Mikado didn't expect it, but okay.
まあ、そのもったいない精神のおかげでこうして脱出できたんすけど。
As he taunted us, I noticed Jomi was holding a phone. Don't tell me. I went to check my pocket only to find the phone, which I thought was safe in my pocket only moments ago, was in his hand.
いつの間に
そんなに意外っすか？もう俺のこと気にするっすよ。
Such a shame. Such a high shame. I see.
見ての通り、イグニスの自称射程犬がアンシャンテに来店しちゃってさ。
我らの後を尾行しアンシャンテのゲートにたどり着くとは全く気がつかなかったぞ。
こいつ逃げ足と気配に消し方だけは超一流だからな。くそ、俺としたことが
I'll never be looking at him the same. How could I let him slip from notice? Jomi was a marvel, capable of tricking humans and non-humans without batting an eyelash. The perfect con man. But I knew there was only one reason Jomi would steal my phone. Only one.
アンシャンテと連絡を取らせないとなか。
I barked out madly from across the room, and the ground shook as the Minotaurs began their menacing approach.
ご名答。じゃあ生き残れるようせいぜい頑張って。俺はバナナを殺すための最後の餌を回収しに行かなきゃいけない。
Oh my gosh, he's about to come pick me up, y'all. What in the heck?
くそ待てドローミー
But it was a cry to the void, and Jomi answered with a dismissive wave. Without breaking his aloof stride, he left the room. Back at the cafe, where I'm about to get kidnapped, woman-napped. That's for me. I sat on the edge of my bed to distract myself. I stared at my phone. I had been spending all of my time in my room, hoping to regain my strength and to let this gaping wound heal. 2, however, remained unchanged, continuing to sleep in the room over. Nor had I heard from Rendo about how the interrogations with Jomi had progressed. What am I even doing here? Everyone was fighting tooth and nail, doing whatever they could for the sake of Ignis and for all of us. Yet, I chose to stay inside my room, wallowing in self-pity to no end. But each time I urged myself to stand on my own 2 feet, multiple times, I should add, it all ended the same. Yeah, I would be thinking about that too. That is scarring. Traumatizing. That's from me. No matter what I tried, the memory of the incident came flooding in, and fear paralyzed me from head to toe. That's for me. More dots. But still, I can't stand to call Ignis a calamity or a monster, nor can I handle the thought of life without him around. I refuse to. That much I knew for sure. But my options in this room were limited. I was sure that Ignis and I were ever to meet again, I would be afraid. If he knew the truth, it would hurt him more than anything up to this point. I want to see him. I want to, but I'm scared. What should I do? Ignis? I uttered my plea, and Karoro responded with a heart-rending cry. The small creature crawled into my lap. His eyes were puffy from tears. Karoro had seemed to indicate some kind of dissatisfaction on account of the distance between Ignis and myself in this moment. Even I... Yep, there it goes. There it goes. A huge tremor interrupted my thought. I rushed over to a window, pulling back the curtain to see a large crowd gathered. What? With Karoro in my arms, I hurried downstairs to see things from the ground floor. Once more, I ran over to a shop window, hoping for a clearer view of the outside. Oh my goodness. Right outside of Enchant, through the door and around the winding road, a crowd of minotaurs leading various other beasts rioted on the motorway. It was pandemonium as humans and non-humans alike tried to flee from the frightful scene. What's this? What's going on here? I would be gone. Just so y'all know. I can't stand it. You over here questioning what's going on, and you see him and you still there. But okay. I ran through that door so fast. It wasn't the Minotaurs themselves storming through the town as they pleased that worried me. Normally, I had Ignis here to handle all of the beasts for me, and there were never this many. I was rooted to the spot as Messire and Canis, who had been nursing two back to health, made their way to me to look for themselves. Well, at least these guys are here. I thought I was by myself. So that makes sense.
ミシェル、そのようなことを追求している場合ではないぞ。今までとは規模が違う。早急に襲われている人間たちを救助すれば。
分かってるよ。マスター、絶対にアンシャンテの外に出ないで。
Okay. Then both Messire and Canis rushed outside to navigate the commotion.
まずい、数が多い上にあちこちへと散開している。
まあ、もうめんどくさいな。異世界の開けた場所ならまとめて吹っ飛ばせるのに。あんまり戦闘に気を取られると、イグニスを封じてる結界にほころびが。
Steel and magic clash in the distance. Bitter pangs underscored my helplessness. I held onto Karoro, observing from the safety of my shop. Will everyone be okay? At a glance, there seemed to be more Minotaurs than I had ever seen. No matter how much I trusted Ignis and them, I contemplated the thought of casualties. What? Oh, I think that was someone else. My bad. My bad. Right, who the heck was that? Right. A shrill scream pulls my eyes to the outside. It hadn't taken me long to spot the source. Oh gosh, Lee. Oh my goodness, kid. standing at the entrance to Enchant, I saw Karya standing with one leg inside of the cafe, while to his rear, an enormous minotaur huffed, eyeing him like a tasty morsel. As the minotaur raised his elbow high into the air to swing down upon Karya, Karya, over here! With the small aquatic mammal in my arms, I pried the front door open. I used my free hand to grab Karya's forearm, yanking him into the cafe with all my might. Karya came stumbling into Enchant. It might not have been pretty, but we were safe. I immediately pulled on the doorknob to shut the door when... That's question mark, exclamation point. A foot slipped into the gap, obstructing it from closing. The owner of the foot was not, in fact, the minotaur who had rushed Karya. I knew it! I knew it! I was about to say it's Jomi! Sucker face. Right. Ugh, Jomi. In self-defense, I attempted to shove him out of the door, but he tightly gripped my arm. I ended up relenting, which gave him enough leverage to force himself into the shop. Oh, Karya. I could use some of your anger like you used against Rendo and Ignis and everybody. But let's go. Karya was quick to shout at the sudden intruder, shooting up to his feet. Karya squinted, staring at our intruder as a sharp coldness seeps around us. But he's used to that cold, though. Oh, yeah. Oh, I could be hurt, too. Dromi spun me around, holding me in place before him like a shield, and the ice shattered before it could take shape. That's Jomi. Lies. I wouldn't underestimate him, Jomi. He may have some moves we don't know about. Jomi showed his teeth, implying that our resistance would put Karya's well-being at risk. Karya, don't do it. I'll be fine. Please, don't do anything dangerous. I think we should wait for Messire and Canis to return. Right, he's like, man, look. Karya pointed his disappointment at the floor, to which Jomi nodded smugly. However, Dromi kept his hold on me tight, putting me between himself and Karya. Then, just as he had done on the night he infiltrated Enchant, Dromi walked me over to the gate and threw me into Bestia. I hugged Kororo tightly into arms as we plunged once more into that icy world. As soon as we crossed over, my breath became vapor, reduced to an intense chill that nearly choked me. Surprisingly, though,
はいどうぞここで投資されても困るんで
yeah, because I gotta be eaten. Not frozen to death, but eaten to death. Jomi, the erratic puppet master, wrapped a blanket around my shoulders. It was enough to stop my shiver, giving me a chance to catch my breath. Dots and a question mark for me. Why go through any of this trouble? Hadn't he dragged me in the first place, hoping I would freeze to death?
店主さんわっかりやすいっすね。疑問が全部顔に出てるっす。ま、あんたに死んでもらうっていう筋書きは変わらないんすけど、食材は新鮮なうちに食った方が美味しいっしょ。
Do you mean...
あらら、なんかうるさいと思ったら、コロロまでついてきちゃったんですか。弱っちい魔獣の分際で番犬にでもなったつもりっすか。
Kuroro! Jomi's demented face warped as he lunged to snatch Kuroro from my arms. Then he tossed the poor creature to the snowy ground like a rag doll as I reached my arm out to Kuroro. Ow!
さあさあ店主さん、あんな邪魔者は放っておきましょう。今あんたが一番会いたいであろう人のもとへ俺が連れて行ってあげるっすから。
Jomi dragged me through the plush snow. There was nothing I could do to resist. I winced as the rocky ground scraped my back. Oh, Kuroro. But poor me, first off. Back in the cavern. The hunger had become torturous, like my gut was being ripped from my body. That's from me. How many days had it been? Any concept of time left me. I sat there pathetically, squatting in isolation inside that freezing cave. All I could think about was finding prey, which required me to break the barrier. I clenched my fists tightly enough to draw blood, using pain to hold my focus together. I should have told Monsieur or one of the others to put me out of my misery. I caught myself groaning in resentment. Thoughts, question mark, exclamation point. Then I see a faint glimmer of light, meaning there was an opening in the barrier. While stuff like spells and magic weren't really my forte, I recognized Monsieur's handiwork when I saw it, and that perfectionist wouldn't be caught dead half-assing one of his spells. If one of his projections, like the barrier up there, started to waver, Something in my gut told me to cast a look up at the ceiling, and sure enough, my gosh.
お待たせしましたっす。
Dots from me, exclamation points from me. Some wimpy, high-pitched voice echoed down from the opening, making my ears sore. I pointed my fist, hoping he'd take the hint before he pissed me off even more. Oh my gosh. And there's me, y'all. Renoni! Ignis. It was her. But at the same time, I could barely look her in the eye. But that rat bastard flung her carelessly through the barrier onto the shrine floor. Oh my gosh, this is worse than the Endoconus. Am I gonna be devoured whole? And back to my perspective. After hours of trudging through Bestia's snowy fields, not to mention without any breaks, Jomi had shoved me into the cavernous shrine that housed the mural of Vanar. I collected myself, but when I looked up, that's from Ignis. It was him, but I couldn't make eye contact. The man I cherished most was separated from me, visible only through an opaque barrier. Ignis! It was him, all right. There was no mistaking his gentle eyes, but nevertheless his name quivered my mouth. In the moment I unwittingly withdrew, giving into my fear of confronting him. This guy. Jomi drop kicked my back with a dull thud, knocking the wind out of me.
てめえドローミ、そいつに手を出すんじゃ。
ああ、はいはい、ごめんなさいね。けどま、これが最後の仕上げですし、これくらいは多めに見てほしいっす。
仕上げ？
そうっすよ。兄貴、あんた人間の中でも特に入れ込んでたこの女の血と肉に目がないでしょ。
Just trifling.
あの時夢中でかぶりついてた顔を思い出せばすぐにわかることっす。
That's from me. Don't. Well, I don't know how you couldn't figure out to be dragged all that time, but alright. Don't tell me. The reason Jomi dragged me all the way to this ice-cold cave alive is...
だからまあ、バナルとなる記念の食事は特別合成にしてあげようと思ってこの女を用意したんすよ。一番の大好物を食って最強の獣になれる。最高だと思わないっすか？
ドローミ、てめえ！
いやー、そんな喜んでもらえるなんて射程冥利に尽きるってもんっすね。ささ、時間の猶予をあげますからゆっくり味わって。
ざけんな！誰がんなこと！
するでしょ。あんたの本能が獲物を前におとなしくしてるはずがないっす。
Jomi curled his lips into a menacing grin, unsheathed his claws, and reached over to tear my bandage with his sharp fingertips. Ah! The bandage clung to my raw flesh, stinging immensely as he reopened the wound. Drip. As he ripped the bandage from my arm, droplets of blood dripped onto the ice. There it goes. He can't control himself, folks. Ignis rushed to cover his mouth, retreating a few steps back as his instincts kicked in. His cry reverberated through the cave. It hadn't taken me long to realize how much agony his hunger had cost him. He swung his arms out, trying to gain even more distance from me. But all he could do inside his tiny prison was pace back and forth. Don't go. I wanted nothing more than to say that. However, my arm throbbed as the blood trickled down. Dots from me, exclamation point. As my stomach sank, I stood rooted in place. Oh my goodness, what is this? Oh my goodness, what is this? What the heck? Dots, and then a from me, Renoni. My arm stopped hurting. Then I hear the eerie sound of blood splashing to the ground, and my eyes follow its path. The veins in Ignis's were ready to bulge from skull, but he fought his ancestral cravings. At his feet, a river of blood flowed and thickened into a mixture with dirt and snow. The runoff trickled to the barrier's edge. I gazed in horror at Ignis's bloody claws. Ignis, was that his blood? That's me. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my fucking gosh. I just don't know what's gonna happen, y'all. I can't. I really can't. All right. Calm face. The 3 C's. Must be cool, calm, and collected. Dear God! Each time Ignis was tempted by the craving, he tore into his own body. His own body became burned and shredded. He was determined not to devour me. His commitment could cost him his life.
俺の願いじゃない。俺の本当の願いは、叫びは、本能は。
Where the heck is Messire and Canis? And I usually don't like to play the damsel in distress, but I'm distressing. Now, where's my knight? My literal headless knight and my demon lord? Where are you? Because it's just dots for me right now. I could only watch in horror. I cupped my hands over my mouth, but I knew there was no running. I dragged my feet toward him. Why the heck would I do that? Okay, all right. I'm calm. Hold on. All right. I dragged my feet toward him, watching as his body began to convulse violently.
来るな。それ以上近づいたらぶっ殺す。いや、食い殺す。
Even in the end, while experiencing an onslaught to his mind, body, and spirit, he looked out for me. Dots from me. Just a bit closer. I walked to where, if the barrier had broken, I knew I would be devoured, but I continued onward. until I reached a threshold I couldn't pass. I'm scared. I'm scared, Ignis. Just look at you. I barely recognize you. It's all because every time I look at you, I'm reminded of the moment you tried to eat me and my feet stop. That's from Ignis, exclamation point. I wonder why. I thought that when you love someone, nothing could stop you from being apart. That's what I thought until now. What was stopping me from reaching out my hand? In the end, I had clung to a naive fantasy, whereas my actual circumstances involved the very tangible threat of my gruesome death. But through painted breaths, Ignis responded.
んなもん、俺だって同じに決まってんだろ。
His voice howls in lament. His voice howls in lament, echoing behind me. Oh my goodness.
なんで俺なんだよ。なんでこんな捕食本能なんてもんを背負わなきゃならなかった。なんでよりにもよってお前を傷つけなくちゃならなかったんだ。ただ化け物の子孫ってだけで。
The burden sat heavily on Ignis's shoulders.
本当はお前を拒絶なんてしたくない。あのアンシャンテでお前が作ってくれる飯をずっと食っていたかった。
No, this is really making me there, y'all. Okay, stop, because this is really making me almost cry. Hold on. Because this is really there. Okay, I see you, Cafe and Shot. All right.
俺を笑顔で迎えてくれたお前の強さにずっと触れていたかった。俺はそんなちっぽけな日常すら願っちゃいけねえのかよ。
Ignis.
けど俺も分かってんだ。もう無理なんだよ。あと少しでも近づいたら俺はお前を間違いなく食らう。今もお前の姿を見て声を聞くだけで恐ろしいほどに腹がすき上がる。
Oh my goodness, his eyes.
自分以外の命全部を餌だと思っちまってるんだ。なんてどうして俺は惚れた女にこんな欲望しか抱けねえんだ。
Oh, is that how I get my confession? Before I get killed, then you tell me you love me? She's the freaking wheeze. Right, that's for me. Several exclamation points. I know, it's already there for me. Tears begin to well in my eyes. Despite the grimness of his desperate plea, the sentiment behind it shot through me like an arrow, causing my heart to skip a beat. Me too. And not that me too. My heart belongs to you. I don't want to fear you. Yet, my heart was all over the place, Feelings clashed, conflicted, and formed lines that could and would never intersect.
はーい。お涙ちょうだいの茶番はそこまでにしてくれないっすか
And here you got this Buzz Killington right here. Oh my gosh. Let's go, y'all. Dots from me, exclamation points. Jomi once more kicked me from behind, sucking the wind out of my lungs. He crouched and grabbed me by the scruff of my neck, threatening me coldly.
キャンキャンうぜえ女だな。お前がバナルの使いだなんておぞけがするよ。キャンキャンうぜえ女だな。お前がバナルの使いだなんておぞけがするよ。んな思い上がりの勘違い。とっとと捨ててバナルに食われろ。それがお前の弱っちい人間に存在する唯一の価値なんだから。
Before Jomi put his grubby hands on me once again, my vision inexplicably became bright red. Dots from me, exclamation points. Dots from Jomi, question mark, exclamation point. Jomi had all of a sudden stopped provoking Ignis, so I mustered all of my strength, slapped him in the face with my open hand. But then I remembered. I still had to face Ignis. That terrifying truth hadn't changed. But my concern for Ignis was nearly eclipsed by the anger I aimed at Jomi for trying to make an offering to Vanar. Several dots from Jomi. Jomi had lightly put his fingertips to the reddish spot. It turned red. Dang, how hard you slapped this guy. So Jomi had lightly put his fingertips to the reddish spot I had slapped, a rare moment of reflection for the impish beast before he probably gets driven crazy. Well, he's already driven crazy, so. Of course, as a human, my slap did no significant harm to him, especially not to a beast. There's the principalities. But Jomi slowly rose, pursing his lips as he searched for a response. Ah! Jomi knocked me down with the roundhouse kick. As Ignis gets closer to me, the scent of my blood travels to his nose and his cravings become heightened. His face crunches as he resisted the urge, restraining himself from dominating me. I'll just leave it like that. Jomi watched the two of us, wide-eyed and apprehensive. The werecat began to stamp his feet in anger as color filled his pale cheeks. No, you have your dream and he just wants to eat all day. Regular food, not human food. Ignis, fighting to keep his sanity, listened to Jomi proclaim a last-ditch monologue.
バナルはあんたは今の魔獣どもと違って弱者を踏みにじるために殺すんじゃない。
Jomi continued on indigently.
空腹を満たすために殺すんだ。生きるために殺すんだ。悪意なくただの本能のみで死者の尊厳を守り、その肉と血を身の内に取り込み、共に永遠に生かしてくれる。
Boy, you think Ignis is done to believe that reasoning, but he is hungry, so he's probably just gonna take any reason at this point.
血を流すことは同じでも、その意味は全然違う。
It was clear how misguided Jomi had been. It was tragic.
何回でも言う。バナルの生き方こそが正しい魔獣のあり方だ。バナルが全ての魔獣を食らってこの残酷な世界のルールに勝利し、それを証明してくれれば、かつておとなしく遊ぶように殺された。
I knew it was this reason.
俺の家族や仲間の死が間違っていたと断言できる。この奴らにとっては最悪だろうと。俺にとっての救いなんだ。
So you just want to use him to do all your dirty work because you can't do it because you're a coward. I'll say that. I suppose from a certain point of view, his wasn't all that different from Ignis's, but it could never come to be. It was too bitter. Jomi had surrendered his fate, avenging his fallen loved ones by taking the whole world with him. Ever since that day, Jomi had nothing, but even now, he looked uncertain to fulfill his purpose. Despite his best efforts, he was once more at the mercy of uncontrollable circumstances. That's for me. I could only imagine how tragic it was, how much pain he endured, but I remained steadfast. You're wrong. While you and Ignis both pledged to change the world, your methods are different. For Ignis, the inherent value and beauty in the world around us isn't up for debate. He's the same as he's always been. He is the sworn protector of the weak, someone who'd give his life for others. That is why he fights. I continued. That's what sets you two apart. He wants to save the world, and you're condemning it. My words fell on Jomi's deaf ears. Without a word, he kicked my head again. I was blinded by pain but couldn't pass out. That's for me, exclamation point. It wasn't just my head, my back, arms, just about every part of my body throbbed.
かりやがって。何の危険もない人間界でぬるま湯に使って生きてきたお前には何もわからない。
Well, we humans do have, some of us humans do have it easy.
こそが最悪のバナルの理解者だ。
Ah!
理解者だったのに。やめろ、ゾロミ。
I coughed up blood each time Jomi kicked into me, which enraged Ignis even more. But it was futile, as his cries of anguish only poured gasoline onto raging fire that was Jomi's thirst for vengeance.
どうして止める？どうしてバナルが降りない？なんで未だに理性を保ってる？どうして弱い世界の弱っちいお前の存在が一番の障害になるんだよ。
That's... Can't you see this isn't what Ignis wants? Jomi pulled his leg back, gathering enough force to shatter my rib cage. I braced for the impact of his kick, shutting my eyes in fear, but... Oh wow. Yeah, I was like, here you go. But then I guess if he kills me, then it just, I don't know. It don't make a difference. I'm just, ooh, I'm here, y'all. I am here. That's from Jomi. That's from me in the question mark. A moment passed, and I looked up fearfully to see Jomi halted in place. His expression began to soften. But at first glance, it wasn't as simple as a change of a heart, or even a surrender.
最後の仕上げとして連れてきたのは脚本家だ。イグニスはバナル化を拒む。
Jomi turned neck to glance at Ignis, who watched him from inside the barrier.
あんたが食わないなら俺がこいつを食おうかな。
What in the heck? I wish he would. He broke into a cruel, bitter laugh.
実は俺も食う練習してたんすよ。あんたを見習ってさ。だからまあ牙で引き裂いて飛び込むぐらいはいけんじゃないかな。
Boy, Ignis is really about to do worse than he did to number 2. Let's do it if you want to.
俺に言わないから最終的には多分吐くけど。
Gosh. That's for me, exclamation point. Jomi capitalized on Ignis's shock, and the fire wolf stood helpless as his old friend shoves me to the ground. Let go of me!
さーて、お前はどんな味なの？
He stretched his lips into a deranged smile. His fangs were pointed and gleaming.
やめろ！やめろっつってんだろ！ドロービー！
Ignis strained his throat, screaming, but Jomi reacted with a smile as I squirmed beneath him.
さようなら、アンシャンテのマスターさん。
All right, Canis, Monsieur, anyone, 2 even.
あんたの味の感想は後でしっかりバナルへと語ってあげるからご心配なく。それじゃあいただきまーす。
No, what the heck? Right, doubts for me, exclamation points, because I know what's not, I know this ain't happening for real. His sharp fangs pressed into my neck, the tips of his canines punctured holes. This was it. I was about to be eaten as I nearly succumbed to my daze. So, yeah, this is what I was expecting. At least Ignis is here to save the day. Let's go! The sound of flames igniting startled me. No, Ignis. I could have guessed what exactly had happened, but as I cried out to him, it was too late. Whatever senses he could bundle together were cast aside, ironically, to save me. A crimson storm shattered the barrier. Then... oh wow. The flaming wolf of calamity let out a guttural, primordial roar of awakening. Nothingness. Bestia, land of the beasts. Its inhabitants follow a strict code of law. The strong dominate the weak, are thin what? Are thin them from the herd. Okay. Tonight, once more beneath moonlight, somewhere in this vast, desolate place, someone is killing, dying, fleeing, or fighting. This order has been upheld for eternity. Its rules have been paid for and signed by the blood of all beasts. That's question mark. A crimson, fiery tower rises into the night sky. Any beast whose eye catches the red flare blast upwards stop in their tracks and stares. It was strange. A bitter, intense frost covered the terrain, so thick not even sunlight could penetrate it. In the dark of this night, one could hardly see the moon. So, what was that? The answer puzzled all but a chosen few. A mighty howl blazed the surrounding area. A beast feared by all antiquity, the beast that time forgot, the heretic of doom, the world devourer, Vanar. Awakened after millenniums in hibernation thanks to the latent power dwelling in a young fighter, the flaming wolf is reborn, led by the call of hunger in its stomach, to satisfy that craving, the craving swelling within. The unforgiving winds, the blizzards, the ice melt at any distance near the flaming wolf. Observers from far away cannot make out the source of this mysterious pillar, but its light is nevertheless ominous. Upon seeing the flaming pillar, all beasts abandoned their skirmishes, struck by fear. It was certain death. This instinct came universally to all beasts. All except for one. Jomi, I could just tell. Yeah, he's just over there having a Jomi-gasm.
が本物のバナル。
At the feet of the snarling wolf who sniffed for prey, rejoiced the calamitous fanatic. Is a fanatic of calamity, his attachment is rooted in a sad yet very serious wish to win against the rules of the world of Bestia that is filled with malice and slaughter.
そうだ、バナル、食らえ、食らってくれ。今度こそ最強たるあんたがこの世界そのものに勝利すべき時だ。俺の憧れ、俺の夢、俺の理想。弱者も強者も全ての命を平等に食らい尽くせ。
Oh man, I really wonder what's about to happen with Ignis. Hopefully he can regain his senses. Back to me. Dots for me. More dots for me.
マスター。マスター。
Oh, did I get flung back? This sounds like Messire. At someone else's urging, I was shaken awake. As my eyelids slowly opened, the person I see in front of me was... Yep.
よかった。怪我はしてるけど、命に別状はないみたいだね。
Messire. I glanced around. The restless field of ice, along with the shrine, had vanished into memory. With the aid of Messire, I attempted to stand, placing both of my feet on the cold floor. Canis and Rendo stared back at me silently, but something in their eyes worried me. Huh? I knew that at some point I had fainted, but everything else was a blur. How did I get back here safely? My face, my back, my arms, a dull pain coursed through my body. No, Ignis. I remembered everything. Dromi kidnapped me. Wait, tell me something. Where's Ignis? What happened to Ignis?
イグニスなら
異形の姿と化し、ベスティアの表現を失踪している。
Right. Just dots and exclamation points for me. That must mean... Did Ignis become Vanar? As the reality sank in, I begged for all of it to be a mere nightmare, but all three nod in unison to my question.
ごめん。俺たちってば毎回到着するのが遅すぎるよね。
まさにイグニスがバナルの姿になった時にちょうどここに追いついてね。
巨大な炎と祠の崩壊、そして何よりもあなたをバナルと化したイグニスから隠すので精一杯だったのだ。すまない。
Dromi outsmarted me, or it's my fault? Let's see. Yeah, it's because Dromi, I mean, he's just I wouldn't say he outsmarted me. It was just, and it's not even my fault. It's just outside of both of our circumstances, y'all. It's not my fault. Jomi outsmarted me. It's his fault. I'm gonna go with that. Jomi laid out the perfect plan after all. Besides, you couldn't have just abandoned all the townspeople. I'm sure that Ignis, were he there, would have made the same decision. The part which hurt the most, Ignis succumbed to his instinct to become Venar, all to save me. That's for me.
ともかくイグニスも放ってはおけない。今からでも追いかけないと。君はどうする？安全面を考えるならここに留まってもいい。
I mean, staying here in Bestia by myself? With Ignis running rampant? I don't think so. Messire offered his suggestion with a nod. It seemed he already expected my answer, but I appreciated his consideration all the same. I responded without hesitation. I want to go with you. I know there isn't much that I can do, but I want to do whatever it takes to help Ignis return to normal.
オッケー。パーティーにお姫様を追加っと。助けようね。俺たちの仲間をさ。
Yes, but maybe a little bit more than friends. Maybe a little more than friends. Yeah!
リンド、彼女の意思も確認できた以上、すぐにでも出発できるか。
As Canis turned to face the man to whom he directed his question, Rendo came huffing. A snowmobile? A small motor vehicle that slides along the surface of snow. Thank goodness we're not on Jake and Sherry's campaign in Resident Evil 6. That was some good times. Everybody be hating on that game though. I actually like it.
正解。極寒の世界を旅するにはもってこいさ。調査班御用達の特徴品。さ、早く乗って。
Oh, okay. At Rendo's prompting, I climbed into the rear seat behind him. Hanging on each side of the vehicle, Messire and Canis hung the hands and feet, sitting snugly inside compartments.
重量的なものもあるし、お強いお二人は飛ぶなり走るなりしてくれると助かるんだけど。
大丈夫、いけるいける。風圧やらなんやらチート使って軽くなるようにしてあげるからさ。
Canis can fly, and I'm sure Messire can too. They just being lazy now.
いざという時のための温存だ。操縦はお前に任せるぞ。
Well, I guess it does cost energy. Rendo curled his lips into a smirk, digging his boot into the pedal and revving the engine before.
じゃあ飛ばしていくよ。荒くれ狼との追いかけっこだ。
As the snowmobile dashed atop the dense snow, I gripped my arms around Rendo. Messire stretched out his head to share info with me as we glided across Bestia. He informed me that shortly after subduing the mad herd of Minotaurs around town, they came back to Enchant. Once Karya had gotten he and Canis up to speed, they untrusted him. Untrusted him? Y'all know. It happens. They untrusted, or they trusted him with 2 and left. But maybe they untrusted him. Then they regrouped with Rendo at the GPM. They routed the Minotaurs near his location, and managed to manipulate a fixed wormhole to appear in the vicinity of the shrine. Shortly after, Rendo had placed an order for the snowmobile with Mikado after debriefing the doctor on everything thus far. Rendo called to us, and sure enough, in the distance, a gigantic beast trampled on the frozen ground, crushing snowmelt beneath paws the size of our vehicle. Ignis! Somewhere beneath that flaming behemoth was the fighter I longed to see.
この距離であの大きさ、全長20メートルあるから、さすがに圧巻だね。
けど壁画の内容から察するにあれでも可愛い方でしょ。
Messier's like, hey, we could be dealing with worse. Yeah, but you're still dealing with what you're dealing with. Let's go, Messier and Canis. It's just you two. Well, I'm negating Rendo like, oh, he's human, he can't do anything. But he's doing what he can do.
このまま餌となる命を貪り完全なバナルの姿になったら
山を越えるほどの大きさということか。
Right now, what exactly is Ignis heading for?
当然獲物となる魔獣たちが固まって縄張りなの。
Just then, I heard a ringtone chiming from Rendo's coat pocket.
ごめん、運転で手が離せない。代わりに君が取ってくれるかな。
Okay. Mikado.
So そこはせめていい知らせとセットにするもんだろう。とにかく話せ。手短にね。
Oh my goodness. What?
そうだろ。
人間界は死神に呪われでもしているのか。
Canis, I know you not the one to talk. As we all processed Mikado's bad news, right before his eyes, Ignis came to a screeching halt. The calamitous beast let out a giant roar, swinging his nose in search of prey. Then he shifted his weight and sprinted off in an entirely different direction. So he knew who we are. Ignis? I called out to him in the darkness. Excuse me. Ignis! But showed no sign of slowing. Don't tell me he's heading towards the portal to the human world?
マジか。発生したホールから匂いを嗅ぎつけちゃったんだ。
バナルは何よりも人間を好んでくる。となれば、あのままホールをくぐらせては。
人間が根絶やしになるってわけだ。その前に何としても止めないと。
Without much time to think, Rendo floored acceleration to top speed. We had managed to catch up with Ignis, keeping him well within pace to stay right on his tail.
とにかく今は足止めを最優先と。
Monsieur motioned with arms, generating thick, colorful circles of mana that materialize into thick chains of light. The magic chains pursued Ignis, tangling around his massive body to ensnare him. But the great wolf howled, warding off the incoming spell with his inferno pelt. No good.
やっぱ俺に高速系は向いてないか。だったら
I know you can do it, Monsieur. This time, Monsieur had stretched out his palm. The ground before Ignis cracked. Monsieur's spell tore the earth asunder. The great wolf took a step backward and the ground started to give beneath him, forming a pit down into the sea.
よし、そのまま海に落ち。
Is that gonna cool him off? A wolf was a wolf no matter the size. Yeah, they can swim, I'm thinking. At risk of losing his balance, the wolf needed to run nimbly and quickly. The great beast dashed left and right, searching for some solid ground before the entire sinkhole collapsed. The spectacle draws a look of awe from Monsieur's face.
むちゃくちゃすぎでしょ。でも元がイグニスなら納得か。
I almost wonder who's gonna win heads up with Monsieur. But I always thought Monsieur was the more all-powerful individual out of everybody at Cafe and Shant.
ミシェル、感心してる場合じゃないって。
分かってるよ。だったら純粋にやるしかないね。
Monsieur thrusted his hands outward into a shape, then snapped his fingers. Then a series of incendiary explosions occur all over the surface of Ignis's fur. Even from a great distance away, I had to cover my cheeks from the heat produced by each deafening blast. Monsieur, don't you think you're overdoing it?
どうやらその心配は無用のようだ。
Right, they gotta, man, girl, look. As the smoke cleared from the explosions, they gotta bring out everything against this guy. Ignis had calmly carried on, acting as though nothing had happened.
体の頑丈さも反則レベル。小手先じゃノーダメ確定。そういうか。何より一番厄介なのは。俺の攻撃が妨害に全然反応してくれない。
本能のままにただ餌を求めて走っているせいか。それ以来はまさに目もくれないか。
挑発や説得に応じない分、そこらの陣が役とよりもよっぽどたちが悪いからね。
ならば我が先回りし直接迎撃しよう。さすがに真正面から攻撃をされれば狩りの邪魔者とみなし排除しようとするはず。
But Canis, are you sure that's okay? Usually Canis had no trouble assuring me, but even the Black Knight was lost for words. This time, it seemed, was an exception.
やっ
Oh, my first scenario, hubby. No! I can't lose you.
何もせず友が落ちる姿を眺めるばかりなどできるはずもない。リンド、速度を上げてくれ。
了解。少しでも可能性があるならかけるしかないね。
The snowmobile's engine let out a low grumble over the icy fields. Soon we overtook Ignis, and when we had gained a fair bit of distance, Canis leapt out of the snowmobile, unsheathing his enormous blade in a bid to distract Ignis. Monsieur followed soon after, covering his ally from behind. The vehicle zooms some ways away from the fray, keeping a close eye on them.
足場やらなんやらは俺に任せて。ガチの殴り合いはよろしく。
心得た。
The Black Knight and the Demon King. Even when facing two of the greatest warriors across all realms, Ignis didn't flinch.
衝撃に備えて。
Okay. The moment I stiffened my body, Canis took a giant leap. The Knight of Medio and the Wolf of Calamity clashed together, slamming the ground with intense impact. As expected, Canis' sword could not penetrate the blazing hellfire which covered the fur of his opponent. Somehow, however, the Black Knight managed to halt Ignis in his tracks. Monsieur was quick to react.
動けなくするなら足の剣もらうよ。
Monsieur drew large circles above his head that summoned hellish spears, which he hurled towards Ignis's legs. However, the result was the same. It was, despite Monsieur's effort, futile. Much like the chunks of ice, Monsieur's spells evaporated before ever making contact with their intended target. Does nothing work? So first it was too much, and now does nothing work? Myself, y'all. Myself.
最悪の名前は伊達じゃないってことだね。
なんか俺が雑魚キャラみたいじゃない。チート魔王様の設定はどこへって感じ。
His face. It's so funny, right? Because that's what I was thinking. Oh man, I was thinking he should have been able to handle Ignis just by himself. But right, he is the sidekick. It's so funny. As I sat in astonishment beside Rindo, I noticed a small magic circle. It was, from what I recalled, what Monsieur used to communicate with two.
とりあえずこの場にいる全員に通話用の術式と魔力を預けとく。これで最低限の連携は取れるからね。
Behind Monsieur, Canis was still in the heat of battle, clanging his sword at the massive wolf without breaking a sweat. Explosions continued to ring in the distance, likely from some spell that Monsieur automated while talking to us.
それで対策は見た感じだとバナルは無敵。このままなすすべがないってこと？
いや、彼はまだバナルとしてやっぱり完全には覚醒してないよ。今ならまだスケール隙がある。
Jeez Louise, so he hasn't even awoken as Vinar yet and he's acting up. Okay.
今俺 俺たちが苦戦してるのはイグニスを止めること、
Yeah.
救うことを最優先としてるからだ。あと一応俺には切り札っていうか、どんな化け物だろうとどんな世界だろうと絶対に勝つことができる力がある。
Monsieur, that's the confidence I needed from you, Monsieur. Let's go.
それを振ればこの戦いを終わらせることはできる。
I understand. Dots all around. Monsieur, is that as the cacophonous? I'm gonna look that up soon. So as the cacophonous battle waged behind us, Monsieur heaved a sigh in anguish. That's from Rendo. Rendo frowned, having seemingly picked up on Monsieur's implication.
拘束や静止もうまくいかない。その上でイグニスに人間界へ侵攻する意志がある以上、俺たちは決断しなきゃいけない。
Oh my goodness. That meant... Do you mean killing Ignis? That's from Monsieur. The other line was silent. I took a deep breath, realizing the answer.
ミシェル、任せてもいいのか。
もうダメだとそう判断した時には、俺が全責任を持って彼を倒すよ。
Oh my goodness, right. I don't think this is gonna actually happen. I have hope that they'll be able to figure something out.
分かった。僕も GPM の臨時代表として同意する。
That's from me. The two broached the topic diplomatically. I couldn't even eke out a word in protest. With the fate of my world hanging in the balance, Monsieur and Rendo had to make the toughest decision of all. There was no denying the threat to mankind posed by Ignis. That I knew. If he were part of our discussion, I knew for sure he wouldn't want to eat, kill, or put anyone in harm. If it were up to him, he would rather die. But please stop! During a pause in their battle, come back! Ignis! I realized I couldn't abandon hope, so I screamed out to him in parched voice. No, what's gonna happen, you guys? I hope they don't have to do what I'm thinking. Still in Bestia. Grazing a corner of the ice field were several beast clans grouped en masse. The strong and the weak. The tribes who had warred among one another days or even hours ago stood in harmonious awe. They gazed their eyes upon the magnificent wolf and trembled before its maw.
なんだありゃ、化け物じゃねえか。どっかの奴らがやり合ってるみてえだな。どうする？冗談じゃねえ。あんな化け物、まともに相手にできるか。今のうちに少しでも離れるぞ。
It was common sense, even to savages. While all beasts communed in an unspoken trust, one that dared them to risk their lives in the name of honor and blood sport, the godlike wolf towering above them superseded their futile search for supremacy. The crowd of beasts all nodded in agreement. Savage and civilized beasts all turned their backs to leave the battlegrounds together. Among their number was
あんな魔獣がベスティアにいたなんて。
That's your hero.
ちょっとあんた何をぼーっとしてんのよ。私たちも早く逃げるわよ。
After they struck up an acquaintance several days prior, the boy and the girl developed a strong neighborly friendship. The girl tugged at his arm, hoping his eyes would meet hers before they trotted to safety with the rest of the pack. Oops, I'm back. That's question mark from the girl. But the girl's ears perked upward, twitching and alert. The boy asked what she heard.
声よ。あの化け物の名前を呼ぶ声。
Cause she got them super rabbit ears. The boy squinted his eyes, blushing because her hearing was sharper than his, but he focused, listening closely. Come back! Ignis! 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 Each impact cracked in the foggy air. The boy recognized the voice. It belonged to the human woman whom he tended. The girl and the boy exchange a look.
イグニス。
あれが
Both of them gasped in disbelief, but others soon began to hear the voice. The two put their heads together, trying to discern how exactly that monster was the same person as the beast who saved them. True, the firewolf and this great beast had similarities, and some beasts could switch between humanoid and animalistic forms. But even so, how much of Ignis survived in there? Judging by the beast's reckless, destructive movements, the answer appeared grim. What could have happened to him? What could save him? The boy and the girl took in the sight of the giant beast and realized they were terrified of its monstrous size. However, dots from the boy and the girl. Together, they nodded and found resolve. Each of them put one leg before the other. They moved forward, one step at a time, as if in sync, but not the group. They were friends, no matter what. Both of them represented every beast who had ever owed their lives to Ignis. They bravely stepped towards that great calamity together. It was a sight to behold. The hardened beasts who wouldn't have hesitated to torture or kill them rubbed their eyes in disbelief. Back to my point of view. After the countless swings of his sword were powerless to deter Ignis's advance, Canis had begun to feel like he reached his threshold. Just as his solid armor was close to bursting from the intense heat. What? Is this number 2? It looked like number 2. Thick chains of light had suddenly appeared, restraining Ignis's giant body. This time they did not shatter prior to impact, and the fiery wolf found itself ensnared as it lashed out in resistance.
助かった。だが
What was that? Everyone glanced up at the sky in unison.
申し訳ありません。到着が遅
I
れました。
knew I ate number 2. Oh, I can't wait to get to his route. I really can't, y'all.
いる。まだ傷も塞がってなかったはずじゃ。それがどういうことか。眠っている間に最低限の霊力が回復したようでして。
A sliver? We gonna need more than a sliver too. You should have kept resting up, but thank you for saving my kindness, hubby.
カリア曰く、突然見知らぬ男が訪ねてきて、私の治療を行ったそうですが。
Really? Well, it seems like he's okay, so that's all that matters.
状況はすべてカリアから聞きました。あれがバナル、つまりイグニスということでよろしいですか？
Yeah.
了解しました。能力も体力も全開には程遠いですが、私もなんとか戦闘行動に。
That's question mark, exclamation point. As two said his part, Ignis bit the chains of light, using his fangs to force them off. Then he rolled over, smashing his tail right onto Two's body. Dang. Two! Freed from his metaphysical chains, Ignis marched haughtily on the icy field before turning to stampede over the downed Two. Oh, at the last second, a shadow swooped down in the nick of time. Two was saved by a mysterious savior. To my surprise, it was not Canis nor Monsieur, and not Rendo, certainly not me.
怖っ！何あれ？本当にイグニスなの？違ったら飛んだ骨折り損じゃん！
I squinted through the darkness, realizing there was something familiar about him. It was the frail beast boy who saved me. As he carried Two to safety, he turned to look over his shoulder each time Ignis roared. Then, shattered clumps of ice came flying from behind us. The specks hit Ignis's eyes. Dots from both me and Rendo. Rendo and I were frozen in place, puzzled by what we had seen when
どんだけすごいデカブツだろうと眼球までは丈夫じゃないでしょ。
Rushing atop the bluff was another familiar face, a young grinning beast girl. It's you!
そんな魔獣の話見たことも聞いたこともないわ。だったらなんでもっと早く両親が殺される前に来てくれなかったのよ。
All this time.
久しぶりね。相変わらず弱そう。
Yeah, I've been bitten a lot.
ちょっと見かけない間に情けない顔になったわね。
Huh? The young girl laughed air out of her nose, enjoying a smug laugh to herself. A rumble grew in the distance, signaling the rally of the beasts contingent en route. Beasts of all colors and creeds, united by their size relative to Ignis, ran forth. Some of them stopped to pack tight lumps of ice into snowballs, hurling it like cannon fire into the towering wolf's eyes. Others leapt up towards Ignis's snout, finding snout make me want some pig snout. I ain't gonna lie. But yes, finding patches of fur to kick at to disorient the beast. While each attack did no serious harm to the wolf on its own, it was death by 1,000 cuts. The wolf was poked constantly in all directions, infuriating him to no end. He could hardly focus on Monsieur or the others, and the frustration had become too much to bear as his flames began to wildly ignite. I see the way his eyes is looking. He got that demon glit in that right eye of his. From under his cloak, Monsieur flipped his hand, deploying arcane shields which contained Ignis flames and protect their lives. They help him while you over here chilling out, Mr. Rindo. Oh, to Ignis. Dead? Yes, all of Bestia coming together. Yes. That's for me. Then it hit me. Although he threw it out in cocky stride, here was the proof as all of the people he had pledged to protect up until this point were gathered together as a community to save Ignis. The girl's proud declaration coaxed a smile from the faces of Monsieur and the others.
そういうことなら作戦変更。まっとうな攻撃や高速が通じないなら、か乱が得意な彼らのサポートだ。こうなったらとことんイグニスの体力が尽きるまで全力でおちょくってやろう。
Let's go!
心得た。では魔獣たちの守護は我に任せよ。
では私もか乱行動をしたいとします。
Everyone fanned out, heading into position. Now, instead of casting wave after wave of powerful attacks, they redirected their efforts by drawing the wolf's attention away from his target, using a more peaceful solution to handle the beast. Rather than slay the Wolf of Calamity, they gathered courage as a unit to repay the ultimate debt to their savior and friend. Even so, Ignis was slowly but surely making progress towards the wormhole, all while attempting to devour any beast unlucky to be swallowed. As this happened, huh? The girl barked me out of my daydream. Well, dang. But I do have to agree with her. But I do understand. I mean, dang, I've been bit. Have you been bit? You just got your parents killed. That's it.
ことはないわけ？私の両親みたいに死んでからじゃ何もかもが遅いのよ。
That's from me, 2 exclamation points.
行く必要はね。
I feel bad bringing up her parents. I read it late.
言ったろ、仕方ねえから守ってやるってな。
No. That's from me. I gently placed my hand over my chest. My fingers felt the rhythmic thump of my heart, the one he swore to protect. There was something I could do. Something I needed to tell him. It was, that's from me, thank you. I clenched my teeth, grimacing at the truth of what was said, and thanked her. Rendo, everyone, I have a request. I poked my head over the crowd, commanding the group's attention with a loudly proclaimed proposal. I was being driven through the ice field in the opposite direction from the wormhole. Rendo raced the snowmobile through the tundra some ways from the battlefield.
本当にやるのかい？
Yes. The distraction effort is going well, but Ignis is still getting too close to the wormhole. That's where we come in. We need to draw his attention. Only one thing would work as bait. I'm always being baited up, man.
兄貴、あんた人間の中でも特に入れ込んでたこの女の血と肉に目がないんでしょ？あの時夢中でかぶりついてた顔を思い出せばすぐにわかることっす。
He was lured him to the wormhole by humans. Yeah. Our only recourse was to tease him with an even more tantalizing scent. One came to mind.
だからって君がおとりになるなんて。
I smiled, watching as Rendo furrowed his brow behind the wheel of his snowmobile. I'm prepared for anything, so Rendo, please get away from here.
やる以上は従うしかないよ、リンド。君がそこにいると匂いが混じってうまく機能しなくなる。
Y'all better protect me.
ですがどうか無茶はせずに、イグニスが走り出すと同時に私たちも当然追いかけますが。
That's not what I meant to do. That's not what I meant to do. That's not what I meant to do. There we go. Yes. I just had to take a picture right here. The devil and the angel. It's just, yeah, it's everything to me. All right, hold on, y'all. Look at it some more. Hope you guys had fun looking at my two best friends that are men.
万が一間に合わなかった場合はすぐに傷口を塞ぎ逃げてくれ。それでイグニスが止まるかわからんが。
Got it. Thank you. None of them could leave their positions, so I responded affirmatively, holding the wishes of the beast people close to heart. I tepidly reached my hand over to the bandage covering my wound. Then, after extending his look of concern, Rendo nodded slowly.
万が一の時は全速力で迎えに来るよ。
Let's go. Okay. With that, Rendo spun the vehicle around, moving to a safe distance where he could still keep an eye on me. Phew. I took a deep breath, then ripped that bandage off. Dots and exclamation points. I bit my lip as I pulled the sticky bandage from my arm once again. Blood began to pour, gush, more like, and I watched the pestered Ignis from a distance. He scuttled as the scent hit his nostrils. Reacting to the scent of my blood, the wolf shook his fur before kicking at the ground to blaze towards me. Two-eyed the rampaging wolf, flapping wings to overtake the beast and secure me, but
待ってください。引きを読んでいた移動速度をはるかに上回っています。まさか。
一度たびただ全力ではなかったというのか。
Yeah, I could have told you it was a bad idea, but you know, I'm just a real life person. Everyone across the magic circle gulped.
リンド、作戦は中止です。今の私ではあの速度に追いつけません。速やかに彼女の保護を。
わかった。
He don't look like he got me, y'all. What is about to happen? No! The flaming wolf had sprinted towards me at the speed of sound, stirring me with terror. As the one who conceived of this operation, I anticipated this outcome. The outcome where nobody made it in time, where my life could end in an instant. That's for me, exclamation points. The wolf had let out a delightful howl, ready to savor the taste of his meager prey. There was no kindness in his eyes as they locked on target, me. Before I had a chance to move, the wolf stretched his maw open to devour me whole. Dashes in a question mark. But something beat him to it. At my feet, I heard something bounce. It plopped repeatedly on the icy ground. Is that Carrero? It seemed like it might be Carrero. Let's see. The sound repeated over and over, building into a louder rhythm until I heard ice crack beneath me. It's several Carreros. I hear an adorable cry squeak beneath the lakeshore, summoning even more countless small figures to loosen Ignis's footing. Even he had been taken by surprise. Before Ignis could adjust his front legs, his hulking frame slipped into the water. That's from me, exclamation point. Waves began to crash, rippling through the immediate vicinity. Desperately, I shift my feet, hoping to avoid the wave. In front of me, I spy a small figure. I recognized that voice. I glanced down to see My Carrero! Heck yeah. Carrero, you're safe. Carrero had been closely followed by a horde of beasts who looked just like him. It was a pride of Pacus. Could it be were the Pacus not extinct as we thought? It appeared that some had survived. Somehow Carrero managed to rally them after being tossed aside by Dromi. We got Athuzi. The many Pacus formed an orderly line, cheering me on from the side. I looked around me for Ignis. When I spotted him, he appeared to be locked in place, although something confused me. He groaned in frustration. Despite being, from my perspective, able to get out of his bind, he refused to. It was as though his mind and his body were out of sync. His willpower was diminished. Then I realized, Ignis! I discarded my role as his bait, and I called out to him, running as quickly as I could to the huge wolf. However, there were shards of broken ice all around me. It was difficult to find steadier footing, much less run. My legs felt ready to give when... Yes! The young boy came to my side, his eyes beaming with kindness. He generously helped me to my feet. He pulled my arm around him and supported my back, making sure I found my footing. Then he led me to Ignis. Just as we reached the wolf, a rushing wave caused by Ignis's exhale rumbled the fragile ice. We're gonna do it, y'all. The boy threw me from the crackled ice. He plunged into the sea in my place. Thanks to his sacrifice, Ignis was right there, standing right before my eyes. I make a slow, tepid approach to his maw. Yeah, I don't know about this, but okay. The wolf immediately raised his head, tracking me, his prey, with a glare. Following his ancestral instinct, the wolf bared his fangs to devour me. Dash marks from me. More dash marks from me. The beast cried out in anguish. His fangs halted inches from my face. Oh, he still recognizes me, y'all. He still knows me. It's scary, though. I did not think this is gonna be this type of event. It's supposed to be lovey-dovey, not me being wolf food. The wolf opened his mouth, then closed it. He began to flee, wincing with each movement. This was no mindless beast. I could hear him whimper in there. That's from me. I knew it. You're still there. I took one step and then another when... I'm so glad I got all the little side paths out from chapters 1 through 8, because going through chapters 1 through 8 and seeing Jomi, like, I can't even go back. This guy here. Ooh, y'all some good creators. Thank you, makers of Cafe and Shop. What is it? Atone? Dromi cackled maniacally, likely having watched everything unfold from the shadows. But None of that mattered. That's from me. Who are you even talking about? I'm not wasting my time here right now, extending my hand to Vinar. He's awkward and blunt, and he's like no one I've ever met. He's one of Enchant's favorite regulars, Ignis Carbunculus the Third. I just had to add that in there. It sounds like Edward and Alphonse. It is pretty cheesy, I ain't gonna lie. I gotta agree with this guy on that. Jomi raised his arm, perhaps so he could strike me again when... Yes. I got my angel and my devil on deck. I shouldn't say it like that. But yeah, y'all know I got the Cafe and Shot squad on me. 2 Chains suddenly... I can't. As soon as I said it. 2 Chains? If y'all don't know, then y'all don't know. Y'all ain't hip. But yes, 2 chains suddenly appeared around his body, completely restraining him. Thank you both. Thank you too. Thank you, Monsieur. I just love these guys. Y'all, I can't. Okay. I accidentally took that photo. No, he didn't say our slogan, y'all. Jomi over here trying to appropriate us. What? His dude said no justice, no peace. I am done. I promise you. Okay. Yeah, it's over for you. Thank you, Monsieur, too. I already said it beforehand, but thank you again. I thanked my 2 assistants. No, they're my lovers. Everybody here is my lovers. Yes, I practiced that. So I thanked my 2 lovers and I walked onwards once more. The pillar of light climbed into the night. At last, I reached him. Sorry for keeping you waiting, Ignis. Aww. I whispered softly into his ears, running my fingers through his scorched fur. So it must not be that hot, or... Okay. Oh, it's just... I want to say it's cute, but it's crazy. Ignis let out a tender groan. Then... Once more, the calamity surged. Ah, I knew it. The same old Ignis still hides in there. You're resisting Vinar. Even now, I know you're looking after me. I felt beside myself, but I'm sorry. And not like that BP sorry guy. Every time I say it, it's just, I know, I'm ruining the moment, y'all. Don't mind me. But you're listening. So, I'm sorry. I won't do what you tell me not to. Or excuse me, I won't do what you tell me to. I won't scream in fear, and I'm not running anymore. I need some glasses, y'all. I know, my bad. But I promise I can read. I still haven't given up on you, winning the fight. The wolf tilted his head in confusion. uncertain of what I meant. I call it naivety. Naivety. I call it naive. Naivety. Isn't that how you pronounce it? Oh my goodness. This game's gonna test your hook on phonics. I promise you. Our idealism. None of it mattered to me, even if Ignis himself refused to believe it was possible. I believe in your strength. You're the strongest ever to live, strong enough to overcome the instinct. Didn't I tell you before that I will satisfy your hunger every day at Enchant for the rest of our lives? Okay, my mind's gone, y'all, but I won't say it, but y'all know what I'm thinking. Okay. I haven't given up on that dream. What about you, Ignis?
違う。誠は俺の願いじゃない。俺の本当の願いは、叫びは、本能は。
Tell me what you wanted to say. Tell me your wish. I want to know your heart's deepest desire. Do you really want to know that? It could be just to eat your ass. That's an exclamation point from Ignis, or Vinar. Suddenly, his enormous body began to convulse. The moonlit flames flickered above the frost. It was as though whatever was laying dormant inside of him was fighting desperately not to vanish. The flames weakened and the wolf heaved a sigh before going silent. Then he lamented just as he had at the shrine, but there was new life to it somehow. Several dots from Vinar. I remember that scene. Damn, that scene was look good though. The memories. I remember that. I already got that one, but I like it in black and white too though. Oh, what girl wouldn't want to hear that? He cried out from the bottom of his heart. The malevolent force that compelled Ignis to feed howled for the last time. Thank goodness. Because this wasn't it for me. I ain't gonna lie. I like my hubby Kana, so I don't like this Ignis one. I like Ignis, but I ain't want to be no wolf food. After Venar completed his vicious rampage through Bestia, time moved on fairly quickly, and 1 week had blown by. So what, he just transformed? I must have got the bad ending. Thank you very much. Please come again. After seeing Canas and Missir off back to their own realms, without much of a second thought, I used knives, cast iron pans, anything I could, and I cooked until I could no longer. I need a cast iron pan myself, a smaller one. I have one big old giant one that sits on like 4 of my eyes on my stove, and I don't like that. I plated all of the dishes, lining them on my largest dining table with no one around. It was a monumental effort, a recital with no audience. A sigh was all I could muster. I prepared a feast for the ages, but there was no one here to eat it. In fact, I was getting used to the silence. I wanted to see how they got rid of that big old beast. I don't like that ending, y'all. Like, that was just like at the end of Canas, oh, I'm outside of the throne and I'm saved. Like, they showed the whole how Kana saved me. So I wanted to see what happened to Ignis. So after the incident, Bestia underwent a small but significant change. Thanks to the uprising of lesser beasts who fought in the battle to stop Venar, the more savage beasts who once hunted the lesser beasts for sport took mercy on their fellow beasts. While they're not wearing flower crowns and dancing in fields at the very least, the beasts learn to cool it on the raids. Also, perhaps other descendants of Venar exist. This thought came up from time to time. So it seemed Bestians came to a new unspoken agreement to reduce the brutalism. At long last, some semblance of peace had returned to Bestia. I don't like this ending. That's why my face is pale.
そうだよ。毎日来る必要は。
There has to be another chapter because it says final chapter. Somewhere in Bestia's icy outreaches, I returned to the site of the calamity. Carrero joined me, and I glanced down at the frosty ground. That's from me. Sunken below the ice was a giant, an incomparable deity frozen in ice, little more than a statue. I think they spelled that wrong. That's statute. Like, okay, I'm gonna let it go. That's from Venar, I guess. He's still alive, but frozen. Oh, Ignis remained in his Venarian form. With eyes shut, he slumbered. Yeah, I got the bad ending. But it's okay. This is a bad chapter for me. I didn't really like it. Even if it was a good ending with them ending up together, I just wasn't feeling it. I'm like, nigga, Ignis, you bit me. So, y'all know, it happens. Rewind. So Ignis fought with everything he had and managed to halt his rampage. However, it came with a cost. It was unclear if he wished for this fate, but he never returned to normal. He collapsed once the last of his strength had left him. Dang, man, this is sad. Yeah, I don't like this. This chapter is not good. Like, this whole path of Ignis is not good. I don't know. They better not do this with my Messire. Alright. After that, as prophesized in that ancient shrine, his body was encased in a giant block of ice. No! But I knew this solution wasn't permanent, because y'all better not leave it off like this. Like, for real, this is not it. Whenever he next woke, would he be himself? Or would he be several more dots from me? Jomi fell into a stupor, unable to accept that Ignis was failed, so he disappeared. I placed my hand over the ice. I stroked him as if it were his fur. My hands became numb almost instantly. I felt no hint of warmth from his icy prison. Just as I feared. Without you, I can't even bring myself to cook. All you wanted was to return to Enchant. But you did it. Everything you could possibly want is right here. More dots from me. I'll always believe in you. No matter how many years it takes, how many decades, when you wake up, when you finally conquer your nature and return to Enchant, then I will probably be dead, but yeah, this ain't it for me. Y'all better not end it off like this. They about to end it off like this. Oh wait, okay, we got dots around the quotation marks. You about to wake up? Boy, wake up. No! Oh, it's just dots. So yeah, oh, that was it. That is crazy. Yeah, it said final chapter. It said the final chapter. So what I'm gonna do, y'all, is when I start the next path, which will be Mr. Rindo, I'm gonna go ahead and go back over Ignis's chapter, because I know I got the bad ending. I know I did. Because there wasn't no, hey, I want you to be my wife or my mate, excuse me. I just can't leave it off like that. So I'm gonna go back through it and I'm gonna show the ending before we get to Mr. Rindo's paths, because this is leaving me sad, y'all. This ain't it. But I would like to thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, next you should see some, I'm gonna get that prologue in chapter 1 out for Death Stranding 2, and of course there's gonna be some more Mafia 3, and then I don't know what else. South of Midnight, Resident Evil Outbreak, what else, and of course there's gonna be, well, that's later on this year, so don't mind me. Just thank you so much for always tuning in. And if you have any other ideas for visual novel games, some scary games, some other type of games that I could probably try to fit in, just recommend it to me. I will get to it. I already have some other recommendations. Don't think I have forgot about it. I just have, as you can see, a lot of games to get through. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe with that little bell jingle turned on so you all stay tuned in, my wonderful people filled with greatness. And as always, much love, much peace, and catch you on the flip side.